Greetings everyone, my name is Buck Business, and today I'm going to be reviewing Samurai Jack, Season 5, Episode 2. So the first note that I saw is that Jack's monologue from the first episode of Season 5 does appear to be the official intro for the rest of this season, I think. Because that is what we saw. Anyways, we start this episode off with Aku, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, but we can see that he is as tired as Jack is. I also appreciate that they try to keep the same tone of comedy as it balances out the rest of this scene with Aku. Now, Aku claims that he doesn't even care that much if Jack is stopped. And the way he behaves makes it seem like he didn't even send that assassin from the first episode, or is even aware of the 7 daughters that fight under his name. At this point, I'll say the new voice acting here is good enough to service for Aku. Anyway, we then cut to the scene of this Grey Wolf, and we quickly see that it shares a parallel with Jack, as they are both taking these different split paths into a forest. Now, based off of the angles and the lighting, I would say that they are in either different locations, most likely. Anyways, we see that the forest that the wolf is in is also much brighter lit. But his outcome, we learn later on, is much darker. Now, I didn't think we'd be seeing Aku this quickly, as I mentioned, as I'd be talking about him more, or seeing the 7 daughters going after Jack this fast. But that is the case here. After Jack takes down this huge robot bug, the 7 daughters prove to be too much to Jack, as they are immediately chasing him. And we see him go and hide under one of the dead bugs. And then we see this blue illusion of a younger version of Jack, giving off the idea that Jack should do seppuku, or commit suicide, in order to end his suffering and to be with his family again. And quite an intense scene, and I didn't expect that much dialogue to come from Jack, but that is the case here. Anyways, we see that Jack's armor is already torn at this point, but he manages to run into the temple, and he's able to hear the 7 following up behind him because of this rain that has been going on. He manages to make it into the temple, and the lighting in this few shots all within the temple are all pretty good. Using blacks and whites really good, using green really effectively as well. Just really interesting ways of using light to show what is going on. So we see that the 7 are already proving to be a relentless force, and the music during Jack's hiding, when he is hiding in this little coffin, is really, it really builds this tension as they're giving chase. Just before he leaves, he escapes from the little tomb after they're about to attack him. He gets caught by one of the 7, and he literally takes her out via stabbing her on the neck here. And we see him barely just making it out. So he was very, very lucky. And then, as I said earlier, we see a cut back to the wolf, who, from appearance, seems to have died. Again, that's implied. Oh, he didn't move, so I assumed he was killed off. At any rate, This episode was intense and went full throttle after Aku's scene, that is. So, as I stated in the very first episode, I really hope that Cartoon Network is paying attention to what they let go of and put during Adult Swim. This type of intensity in storytelling is something I'm sure audiences would have appreciated in Powerpuff Girls and even Teen Titans. This level of intensity, this level of storytelling, as I said, as well as the way they handle their characters. As I mentioned earlier, Aku is still a delight to watch, as he really plays off of Jack really well in this episode. Again, we are seeing both characters being both a lot more delusional now in their older years. And Aku, as I mentioned, is just sick and tired of it. At least he appears that way right now. He's just really tired of everything. So, enough with the wishful thinking that these other shows will pick up on this sort of intensity building, but this episode was really fascinating, seeing the Seven in action and seeing how Jack barely is able to catch one of them off guard well enough to take one of them out. So, that is it for my review. So if you did like this review of Samurai Jack, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, farewell, everyone.